What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be showing you the GTX. Now this is a car you might have been seeing in a lot of our other videos in the background as we've been walking around, and today we're actually going to kind of dive into it, let you know what's going on, what we're doing with it, what we've done to it, and it's getting close to some of those really exciting times in that build. We're really getting close to paint. We're getting close to a lot of our final gapping and how we're going to set gaps and all that stuff. So there's going to be a lot of really...
Walk of shame, go turn the compressor off. We knew that was going to happen. Every time. Hey, is the compressor off? Yeah, it won't kick on.
I didn't clear that good, so I was going to quick buzz it down, and I just never got to it, so that's why I flipped it on.
Every time. This is the stuff they don't show you.
Right? We should be seeing, right?
Well, I'm going to show them this. I'm going to show them this. Yes, absolutely. This is the fun stuff. There we go.
We want to make sure we don't fucking turn it off.
That's right. Yes. We don't want to do that. Okay, we're going to set up and take two.
Okay guys, now that we got that compressor turned off, we shouldn't have any more interruptions. And let's get back to the GTX. So 1968 GTX. So pretty special car, even though it's a very similar body style for Mopar. The GTX, there was not a lot of them made. So it's pretty rad that we're getting the opportunity to keep one alive and bring it back to life. So we've been working on it with the customer for a little bit now. They brought it here just specifically for the body and paint. Once we got it here, there was a bunch of other things that we ended up needing to address and help out with some of the additional fabrication and also some of the work that was done years previous. So we were actually, it was kind of a time capsule one, which was pretty cool because we were able to see some of those repairs and how they did them back in the 80s. And a big thing was how they did the quarter panels. So we can explain that in a minute. But that was a really big one. It was, as it looks today, it's like, oh man, why the f did they do it that way? Well, it's just what they did back then. Through over 30 years of work, now we've got different applications and processes to do these things. So again, it was really great. It was a good learning experience for me because, you know, you see how they were done, right? So that was a good one. That was probably one of the bigger ones we had to address just because the way that it was hanging up underside, it was, you know, the customer just wasn't really happy with it. And with being inside that trunk panel as well, there's no inner trim pieces for these trunks. So they're all painted. So you would have seen that had it been up on the hoist and you looked in. But yeah, this one is really cool. So this one we are going all out. We have spent hours and hours and hours on the underside of the frame. So we will be completely painting the whole underside. Stay up there, buddy. So again, we've spent hours and hours and hours underneath here making sure that everything's good. So they want this one here specifically, we're going to be doing underneath just as good as the exterior, which is, it's pretty rad, and you don't necessarily get to do them all the time in restoration shops just because builds don't, and budgets, you know, they're not always there. So we've had to do, now a lot of the fab work and panel replacement was done when we got it. So we were just specifically doing our body work and stuff. So it's, and now we are getting to a really good point to where some of that hard work is really gonna start to pay off. So we're getting super close to paint. We've got the sound deadener in the passenger compartment, so that's step one. We've got the underneath that's going to be rolling into the booth within the next couple of weeks, so you can stay tuned for that. We'll have lots of footage for you on that one. And we are headed into final prime for the exterior. So things are really going to start happening pretty close, or sorry, pretty quickly in the next little bit. So we are going to be painting the underside, getting color on that. Then from there, we're going to get it back and rolling. So the owner's going to be bringing up all of the suspension and driveline, and we're going to be getting that into the car, so it'll be sitting down on the ground. From there, we're going to get into all of our final gapping. So we've got this thing gapped out pretty close. we'll have it final primed. We'll assemble the whole car, so we'll get into assembling fenders, grille, headlights, door handles, all of the window trim around the roof line and the back trunk line, so that everything is fitted and perfect, so that if there's any tweak that we have to make, we'll be doing it in that stage, okay? So it will be final primed, and then we'll fully assemble the car, and then we'll disassemble it. But that's when we'll start drilling our pilot holes for our guidelines, so that once we build it back up, once it's all painted, we're not messing around with any type of gapping and risking chipping any type of edge or anything like that. So once we get it on the driveline, we'll get it all assembled, then gapped, and then we'll get into our final block down and we'll start painting this car. So sounds like it's just going to be a couple weeks, but we'll still probably have a few months left on this just to get it to that point. So it's going to be really awesome. So again, really exciting time. A lot of that monotonous, boring, you know, blocking, filler, blocking, primer, blocking, primer, blocking, primers is all kind of done. So we thought this is a perfect opportunity to start doing a bunch of videos on this, get it up on YouTube, and now you guys can really follow along. So this one's going to be great because you're going to see it kind of come to life. All right, guys, let's have a quick little walk around and we'll kind of explain some of those things that we were talking earlier. So here's where we've got all of our sound deadener and heat shield and stuff in there. This one is lizard skin, and we will be having, you can go check out the tech video on that. How we've done this is we've left that luggage tray up here so that we can have that painted nice, so that if there is any type of thing that you pull it apart or anything, you're still going to see some nice color. We've done the underside of this with that lizard skin as well, just because you're not seeing that. And we've utilized that back suspension bump for the axle bump there. We've used that body line. So we've taped along that, and those body lines there really lend themselves when you're doing different material transitions. So this is going to stay this color carpet on here, and we can run all that. Then this is actually going to be right there. Then that whole trunk is going to be all painted, because like I said, there's no trim pieces in there. So we'll just kind of quick rotate this. So actually, I'm just going to go back up. So right here, so this here was that quarter panel we were talking about. So what they had done is they'd taken this new quarter panel, they brought it up, they'd taken this was the original, and they pushed this down and they overlapped that quarter panel and they welded across here. So that's what they did back then. That's just how they did it. It was an easier way. So by doing that, what happens is up in here, and you can actually see where this transition is right here. So that's where they weld it here, but now what we've done is we've cut it back, and then so the old quarter would come in and it would hang out, and it sticks out to about here, it dangles there, you've got this edge, you can't do anything with that. So it just really looks cosmetically just unappealing. So what we've done is we've cut that off and we've welded here on the seam. So when we roll this back up, so we've used this body line now as our seam. So this is where our weld is. So now both of our new quarter panel, old quarter panel is actually butted up against, and this gives us some good meat. So even when we're welding across there, it's a lot less likely, as we're going slow, for any type of warpage. It's going to keep that to a minimum, and we can crisp that up real nice. So again, so inside here, this is going to be painted all nice and body color. So this will be all base clear body color. And now we see we've done our tubs, we've done our hinge plates all in our lizard skin. We've left our trunk hinges so that we can paint them. And then again, now we're gonna flow up and we have a really nice, clean, crisp transition for when we're adding that, those different materials together. So that's kind of where we've, again, it just looks great. And when we don't have any filler panels, like a lot of these old cars didn't have filler panels and that, this is just gonna look that much nicer sitting at a car show, opening that trunk up. So just kind of the level of work that we like to do and what these guys are going for as well. This is that type of a build. So as you can see, we've got a couple different colors on here as well, as I'm sure you're starting to notice. So we've got our urethane high build primer, We've got our polyester primer, and then we actually have some polyester fillers. So these are the stages we're going through when we're making cars super straight. And that's just kind of the work that you've got to put in when you're trying to get to this nice big long panel. So we'll have this all final primed, so we can still see some sand scratches. So we'll finish that out to 320 grit, and then we'll final prime that. We also have to final prime the roof, and then this is where we're gonna sit. So from there, once we'll mask this off, this will stay all covered up. Then we'll roll it into the booth. And we will now get into all of the underside. And yeah, it's a lot of effort underneath these cars. So as you can see, so it's going to be a neat one because with all the round bar to strengthen up that frame because of the motor and driveline that they're going with. They've changed up the rear suspension, and this fab work was all kind of done before it came to us. But yeah, so we have just a little bit of seam sealer to go up in those wheel wells, and then we're going to get into yeah, so we are very close. So probably within a week or two, this will be rolling into the booth. We'll blow it out really good, make sure that nothing from any sandblasting and any of that, all the sanding and overspray and all that shit sitting in any of these holes. So we'll spend probably 2 days. We'll blow a bit, let it rest, reposition it, blow it off again, let it rest, then maybe come back the next day, get in them again, and really try to work in through these holes so that we can get all of that dust, dirt, debris, and especially from sandblasting, man, does that sand just lay everywhere and stays everywhere. So we really want to make sure that we're getting all of that blown out so that none of it lands in the paint, because I don't want to polish the underside. Okay, if you've done any wet sanding, polishing, you don't want to have anything to do with polishing underside of a car. Okay, painting, sanding, and priming is enough work as it is. So when we get to that, so it's just going to help one more step, a few more steps actually, to help ensure us getting a really nice clean finish underneath. So once we paint it, we're done. So now, speaking of all that paint, because it's gray and because of the color it's going to go, what we're going to do is we will use a gray sealer, seal it all up. Then I'll take a base coat that's kind of in the same value shade or G shade or grayscale or whatever you want to call it. So it's just a different level of gray from white to black. And I will add a little bit of that color into that. And again, once we get into spraying it, we'll kind of show you there. But what that does is it really helps for some of these smaller areas and all the round tube. It really helps get color in there, so we have a lot less difference between our color of the car and our ground coat. And we're using a medium gray for a ground coat. That can really start to show through depending on how that car's sitting, right? And the different view. You know, you get it up on a hoist, you might see something different. So that's something we'll definitely explain a little bit more once we get into that part. But we are getting super close. Like I said, we're probably 2 weeks away getting this in the booth, and then here's where we'll start. Once this is all painted, then what we can do is we can get it off the rotisserie, get it laying down on that with the front and rear suspension in, and then we can have it rolling again. So, which will be really awesome to get it off this rotisserie because they take up a lot of room. So yeah, guys, this is, like I said earlier too, the story on this is really rad. It was the owner, it was her dad's car when she was a lot younger, and they spent quite a few years tracking it down, and they were able to find the exact Finn car. So it's, man, it almost gives me goosebumps kind of thinking about it. So it's pretty special. We'll have a lot more in-depth information on that as we kind of carry through the build. And yeah, stay tuned, guys. This one's going to be really rad. It's a big car. We've spent a lot of time in it making it nice and straight. It's a long straight car, so it's going to be cool. It's going an iconic color. So yeah, guys, stay tuned, and we'll catch you in that next one.